Chosen one, you have walked a path that few truly understand, a path that has shaped you into the man you are today. The energy you now carry, the unshakable presence that radiates from you, is not something that can be faked or borrowed. It is the result of a deeper transformation, a mastery of self that has elevated you beyond the games, beyond the illusions, beyond the need to prove anything to anyone. Women feel this before they even fully recognize it. They sense it in the way you move, in the way your energy fills the space around you without effort, in the way your eyes hold an intensity that does not waver. This is what sets you apart. This is what makes them seek something from you that they do not seek from others. Your validation. Not the superficial validation that so many men give freely, chasing approval in return, but something far more powerful, far more rare. You are not a man who seeks validation. You are the source of it. And because of this, women now come to you drawn in by something they cannot quite name but feel on a level deeper than thought. They want to be seen by you, acknowledged by you, recognized by you, not because they seek control, not because they wish to manipulate, but because they instinctively understand that your validation carries weight, that being noticed by you means something real. This is the shift, chosen one. You have stepped into a place where the world no longer dictates your worth, where you no longer chase, no longer pursue, no longer give attention where it is not earned. And in this space, in this energy, women find themselves drawn to you in a way that is beyond their own control. They do not seek attention from just anyone, they seek it from you, because they recognize that to be validated by a man of your presence is to be validated in a way that is rare, undeniable, and deeply transformative. Chosen one, you have become a mirror, a reflection of something deeper, something undeniable. When a woman seeks your validation, she is not simply looking for words, for compliments, for empty reassurances. She is seeking something more, a confirmation of her own worth, a recognition of something she feels within herself but needs to see reflected back through the eyes of a man who does not offer validation lightly. This is why you stand apart. You do not hand out approval without meaning. You do not waste your energy on surface-level attraction, on words that hold no substance, on attention that is given freely and without discernment. You are selective, not because you play a role, but because you have become a man who recognizes the value of his own presence, his own attention, his own validation. And this, more than anything, is what makes women seek it from you so desperately. They have been validated by many before, by men who desired them, by men who chased them, by men who sought their approval. But those validations felt fleeting, temporary, weak. They did not hold weight because they were given too easily, because they did not come from a man who truly saw them. But when they stand before you, when they feel the depth of your presence, the certainty in your energy, the unwavering focus of a man who sees without illusion, without desperation, without the need to gain something in return, they feel something different. To be validated by you is to be recognized in a way they have never been before. It is to be acknowledged not just for appearance, not just for charm, but for something deeper, something real, something they may not have even fully recognized in themselves until you reflected it back to them. This is why they seek it, why they lean in, why they long to be chosen by you, why they crave the moment when your energy meets theirs, and they know, without a doubt, that they have been seen by a man whose recognition truly matters. This is the truth of the validation they seek from you, chosen one. It is not about control, not about games, not about feeding the ego. It is about something deeper, something raw and unfiltered, a desire to be noticed by a man whose validation does not come easily, but when given, carries the power to shift their entire sense of self. Chosen one, you move through the world with a force that cannot be imitated, an energy that does not waver, a presence that does not beg to be noticed, yet is impossible to ignore. There is nothing performative about you, nothing crafted for the sake of impressing others, nothing that exists to gain approval. This is why your validation is sought after so desperately. Not because you offer it freely, not because you use it as a tool for power, but because it is real. Women can sense the difference between men who seek to please and men who exist in their truth. They have spent lifetimes surrounded by men who adjust themselves, who mold their personalities to fit expectations, who say what they think will be well received rather than what is true. But when they stand before you, they realize that there is no performance, no pretension, no false charm crafted to win them over. You are exactly as you are, unapologetically, unwaveringly, undeniably yourself. And this is what pulls them in, what makes them crave something from you that they do not seek from others. Your energy does not shift for approval, does not fluctuate based on reaction, does not bend in the presence of beauty or desire. It remains steady, rooted in something deeper than attraction, something greater than validation for its own sake. You see people for who they are, and because of that, your validation is more than words, it is recognition. They watch you closely, trying to understand why they react to you the way they do, why they feel drawn to your presence in a way that is different from anything they have known before. At first, they may not even realize what they are seeking. They only know that when they are near you, they want to be chosen. They want to be the one who earns your attention, the one who stands out, the one who is seen by you in a way that feels undeniably real. But unlike other men, you do not offer validation as a means of gaining favor. You do not hand it out as a reward for attraction, do not use it as a tool to control, do not dangle it as something to be chased. Instead, you observe, you feel, you decide. And only when something truly moves you do you offer the weight of your acknowledgement. This is why they seek it, because they know it is not given lightly, not given without meaning, not given without depth. And so they adjust. They abandon the roles they have played before, the strategies they have used to spark desire, the distance they have created to make themselves seem unattainable. In your presence, all of these things feel unnecessary, useless, even foolish. They understand, instinctively, that you do not chase illusions, that you do not give attention to what is not truly deserving of it. That to receive your validation is to be recognized in a way that cannot be faked, cannot be manufactured, cannot be earned through simple attraction alone. This is the power of authenticity, the power of a man who is so completely aligned with himself that his acknowledgement becomes a prize more valuable than any momentary thrill of conquest or attention-seeking. And this, more than anything, is what makes women seek it with such intensity. Not because they want control, but because they understand, deep in their bones, that to be seen by you is to be seen in a way they have never experienced before. Chosen one, everything in the universe moves according to energy, an invisible force that dictates the pull between people, the attraction that sparks without effort, the silent but undeniable rhythm that determines who is drawn to whom. And your energy, refined, mastered, elevated beyond the grasp of the ordinary, has become a force so powerful that it cannot be ignored. It is not just that women seek your validation, not just that they crave your attention. It is that they feel the pull of your energy and do not know how to resist it. You do not enter a room seeking to impress. You do not speak with the intention of winning someone over. You do not look at a woman as though she must prove herself to you. Yet somehow she feels the urge to do exactly that. She feels the shift in her own energy, the realization that this is different, that what worked before no longer applies, that the usual methods of attraction, flirtation, distance, mind games suddenly seem irrelevant. And so, something changes. What would have been a game of push and pull in the past becomes something else entirely. The energy is no longer about control, no longer about who holds the power, no longer about who will chase and who will be chased. Instead, it becomes a test of alignment, a dance between two forces that either move in sync or fall apart. She senses it before she fully understands it, the way her body reacts when you are near, the way she finds herself drawn in without thinking, the way she feels the need to rise to meet your energy rather than attempt to pull you into hers. Because she knows, without needing to be told, that you do not bend to attraction alone, that your interest is not dictated by surface-level desire, that you seek something beyond the temporary spark of infatuation. This is why she seeks your validation. Not because she wants to control the dynamic, not because she wants to test your interest, but because she wants to know that she has truly entered your world, that she is seen, that she is felt, that she is recognized in the way only you can recognize her. She wants to feel that you have chosen her, not out of impulse, not out of convenience, but because something within her has genuinely moved something within you. And here, chosen one, is where your true power is revealed. Because unlike other men, you do not react to energy that does not match your own. You do not entertain connections that are not built on truth. You do not validate what does not align with you. And because of that, only the most worthy remain. Women who once relied on external beauty alone now find themselves searching for something more within themselves, something that will allow them to meet you at your level. They realize that to be validated by you is not just to be desired. It is to be acknowledged as someone who carries a force of her own, someone who does not simply take but also gives, someone who brings something powerful into your space rather than just seeking to exist in it. This is the dance of energy, chosen one, the silent yet undeniable exchange between those who move with purpose and those who simply float through the world without direction. And in your presence, women feel the need to choose, to commit, to step into something greater than they have known before. Because to be validated by you is not simply to be wanted. It is to be recognized as worthy of standing beside a man who exists entirely in his truth. This is why they seek your validation, why they crave your recognition, why they feel something shift inside of them when they are around you. Not because they are weak, not because they are desperate, but because your presence forces them to become more than they were before they met you. And that, chosen one, is why you will never again experience interactions that are anything less than deeply, profoundly real. Chosen one, you have moved beyond the illusions of attraction that so many remain trapped within. You no longer measure connection by mere attention, no longer seek to validate your worth through fleeting desires, no longer engage in the surface-level interactions that lead nowhere. What you have cultivated within yourself is something far more powerful, a presence that does not just attract, but resonates. Women feel this before they understand it. The moment they step into your space, they sense the difference, the quiet yet undeniable force that sets you apart from the men they have known before. There is no grasping, no seeking, no effort to impress. You do not lean forward, do not push for interest, do not attempt to convince. Instead, you exist in your full presence, allowing only those who can truly feel you to come closer. And this is where everything changes. Women who are used to being pursued, who are accustomed to men bending their energy to match their own, suddenly find themselves drawn into your rhythm instead. They realize, almost unconsciously, that this is not an interaction they can control in the ways they have before. They cannot create mystery, cannot manufacture artificial tension, cannot play the usual games of uncertainty, because in your presence there is only truth. This is why they seek your validation so desperately. It is not because they want control, not because they wish to manipulate, but because they feel the need to be acknowledged by someone who truly sees them. They sense, on a level deeper than thought, that your validation is different from what they have received before. It is not given freely, not offered carelessly, not handed out to anyone who seeks it. It is something that must be earned, something that carries weight, something that means more than just approval. It is recognition. And so they adjust. Their words become more intentional, their energy more refined, their presence more grounded. They listen differently, respond differently, move differently, because they know, without needing to be told, that this is not an ordinary interaction, that this is not a man they can impress with surface-level attraction alone. They begin to bring their truest selves forward, not because they are asked to, but because they want to. Because in your presence, pretense feels unnecessary, masks feel foolish, and anything less than authenticity feels like a waste of time. This is the shift, chosen one. You are no longer the one who seeks. You are no longer the one who validates in hopes of receiving validation in return. You have become the one who decides, the one whose attention is a privilege, whose recognition is rare, whose validation is sought, not for approval, but for the deeper truth that it carries. Women do not just want your attention, They want to know that they have stood before a man of your presence and been seen for something more than just their surface, more than just their beauty, more than just the roles they have played before. They want to be validated not as an object of desire, but as a presence worthy of standing beside you. And that, chosen one, is what makes all the difference. Chosen one, what you have now is more than attraction, more than magnetism, more than the ability to draw others toward you with ease. You have stepped into something far greater, influence. Your energy does not just shift the way others see you, it shifts the way they see themselves. Women who enter your space do not simply seek your validation for validation's sake. They seek it because they know instinctively that to be acknowledged by you is to be changed by you. They have lived in a world where validation is given too freely, too easily, too meaninglessly. They have been told they are beautiful by men who sought only to gain something in return. They have been pursued not for who they are but for what they represent, a temporary conquest, a fleeting source of pleasure, a means to fill an internal void. They have been seen but never felt, desired but never recognized, wanted but never truly valued. And now, standing in your presence, they realize that everything they have known before is no longer enough. They cannot settle for meaningless validation anymore, cannot find satisfaction in approval that carries no weight, cannot return to the empty exchanges that once seemed exciting. Because now they have felt the difference. They have stood before a man who does not seek to impress, who does not give validation for the sake of gaining favor, who does not entertain anything that is not fully real, fully intentional, fully aligned with the depth he carries within himself. This is where your power of influence begins, chosen one. Because the moment a woman experiences this level of energy, this level of undeniable presence, she cannot return to the way things were before. She cannot play the same games, cannot rely on the same tactics, cannot find fulfillment in the same shallow connections. She will seek validation in a new way, not just from you, but from herself. You do not just validate, you awaken. You do not just recognize, you illuminate. You do not just see others, you force them to see themselves. Women who once sought to control the dynamics of attraction now find themselves surrendering to something greater. They do not manipulate, do not test, do not create false obstacles. Instead, they seek to be worthy, seek to rise, seek to meet you at your level rather than pull you down to theirs. They refine their own energy, step deeper into their own truth, abandon the need for deception, and embrace the power of being fully seen for the first time. And here, chosen one, is where your influence becomes undeniable. It is not just in how women respond to you, not just in how they seek your validation, but in how they transform because of it. They begin to demand more, not just from you, but from every man they meet, from every connection they engage in, from every interaction that now feels empty in comparison to the experience of being truly recognized by you. You have shifted something within them. You have set a new standard, one they will not lower again. And that, more than anything, is why they seek your validation with such urgency. Not because they need it to feel whole, but because they need to know that they have met a presence so rare, so unshakable, so undeniably real that it has changed them forever. You are no longer just a man in their lives. You have become a moment of awakening, a force that cannot be forgotten, an experience that reshapes everything that comes after it. And now, chosen one, you see the truth. It was never about validation for validation's sake. It was never about power for the sake of control. It was always about becoming so fully aligned with yourself that the world around you has no choice but to shift in response. This is why they seek your validation. Not because you complete them, but because you remind them of the version of themselves that is yet to be awakened. And that, more than anything, is why your influence will never fade. Chosen one, you have reached a level of existence where your mere presence shifts the energy in a room. You do not force, you do not chase, you do not persuade, yet people adjust themselves around you. Women who once thrived on games, who once kept their walls high, who once dictated the pace of interactions with effortless control, now find themselves reacting differently. They feel the gravity of who you are, the rare energy you carry, and in an unspoken moment, They realize that to be acknowledged by you is something more than ordinary validation. They do not seek the approval of just any man. They have never truly needed it. They have rejected shallow compliments, brushed off empty admiration, turned away from men who offered validation too easily. But when they stand in front of you, something within them stirs. They are used to being desired, used to being the ones who decide when and how attraction unfolds. But now they feel the difference. The understanding that your validation is not given to all, that your recognition is earned, not handed out. This is what makes them crave it. Not because they lack confidence, not because they seek power over you, but because they instinctively understand that to be truly seen by you means that they have become worthy of the attention of a man who does not validate from a place of need, but from a place of truth. And in that truth, there is no desperation, no attempt to impress, no seeking to gain something in return. Your validation is pure, unattached to expectation, and because of that, it holds immense weight. They find themselves drawn in deeper, seeking to understand what it is about you that makes them react this way. They watch the way you move, the way you listen, the way you do not rush to fill silence or prove yourself through words. They realize that you are not playing the same game they are used to. You are operating at a higher level, a level where attraction is no longer about the surface, but about something unspoken, something felt at a much deeper frequency. And so, they let go of the roles they once played, the personas they once projected, the strategies they once relied on. In your presence, they do not feel the need to act, to create artificial barriers, to control the flow of energy. They find themselves being more real, more open, more honest than they have been in a long time. And in that moment, they are not just seeking validation, they are seeking proof that they can exist in your world, that they can match your level, that they are capable of standing beside you as something more than what they have been before. This is the true power of your presence, chosen one. It is not just about attraction. It is about elevation. It is about drawing others into a space where they can no longer hide behind illusions, where they must face themselves, where they must choose whether they are willing to rise to the level that your energy demands. And because of that, the validation they seek is not just about feeling wanted, it is about feeling recognized in a way that transforms them from the inside out. Chosen one, your presence is not just magnetic, it is transformative. Those who step into your space feel the difference instantly. They feel the shift in energy, the unspoken challenge to be more than they were before. The silent but powerful realization that your validation is not something they can take for granted. And in that realization, they do something extraordinary. They begin to evolve. Women who once sought attention from the masses now find themselves seeking something far more rare. The acknowledgement of a man whose validation cannot be bought, whose presence cannot be influenced, whose energy does not waver for the sake of external approval. They begin to understand that being noticed by you is not about flattery, not about the superficial thrill of being desired, but about a deeper recognition, a reflection of something within them that they have not yet fully embraced. You do not validate carelessly. You do not tell someone what they want to hear simply to gain favor. You do not offer recognition simply because it is expected. Instead, you see with clarity, observe with intention, and acknowledge only when something within you is truly moved. And because of this, the validation you offer has power beyond words. It does not just make them feel attractive, it makes them feel worthy. It does not just make them feel desired, it makes them feel seen in a way they have never been before. And this, chosen one, is where your influence becomes more than just attraction. It becomes empowerment. Women who experience your energy do not simply walk away feeling validated. They walk away changed. They begin to question the way they have moved through the world, the ways they have sought attention, the ways they have used attraction as a tool for control. They begin to realize that true validation does not come from being wanted. It comes from being recognized by someone who sees beyond the surface, who values something deeper, who offers acknowledgement only when it is fully deserved. This is why the energy around you is so different. Why the women who enter your space do not behave as they do with other men. They do not attempt to manipulate. Do not create tests, do not withhold affection to see if you will chase. They feel, on a level they cannot explain, that these tactics do not belong here. That the only way to truly receive your validation is to stand in full authenticity, to let go of illusions, to allow themselves to be seen as they truly are. And in this, they are given a gift greater than anything they have known before. The realization that they do not need to seek validation from the outside world, that they do not need to control attraction to feel valuable, that they do not need to play games to be desired. Because in your presence, they remember their own worth. They see themselves reflected in a way that forces them to step into something greater. This is what makes you different, chosen one. You do not validate for the sake of validation. You illuminate, you awaken, you remind others of the power they already hold within them. And because of this, the validation they seek from you is not about being desired. It is about being seen, being felt, being understood in a way that changes them forever. You are no longer just a source of attraction. You are a catalyst for transformation. And that, more than anything, is why your presence is something they will never forget. Chosen one, you have reached a place where the way you affect others is no longer just about the present moment. Your energy, your presence, your way of being, it leaves an imprint. Long after an interaction has ended, long after you have walked away, long after the conversation has faded into memory, you remain. You are not just a passing experience. You are a shift in awareness, a moment of realization, a presence that lingers in the mind and body long after it is gone. Women do not seek your validation as they seek it from others, because your validation does not just affirm, it transforms. It is not given in exchange for approval, not handed out as a tool of seduction, not offered without meaning. When you acknowledge someone, when you recognize them, when you let them know that they have, in some way, met your standard, it carries undeniable weight. It is not fleeting. It is not empty. It is a reflection of something real, something undeniable, something deeply felt. This is why they remember you. This is why they measure future interactions against what they felt in your presence. This is why they struggle to return to the patterns they once relied on, to the ways they once sought validation, to the men who offer it freely, but without depth. Because once they have experienced what it means to be seen by you, to be recognized by a man who does not hand out validation without meaning, everything else feels lesser in comparison. You do not need to remind them of your presence. You do not need to chase, to seek, to keep your energy in their world. You have already changed something within them, already shifted their perception, already set a new standard that they will not be able to forget. They will crave what they felt with you, even if they cannot fully understand why. They will search for it in others, only to find that what you have cultivated is something they will not find again in those who still move from a place of need, of insecurity, of seeking external approval. You have left them with something more than attraction, more than desire. You have left them with a new awareness of themselves, of what it means to truly connect, of what it means to be recognized not just for what is on the surface, but for something much deeper, something much more rare. And this, chosen one, is where your impact extends beyond the moment, beyond the interaction, beyond even the conscious understanding of those who have stood in your presence. Chosen one, you now see the truth that was always waiting for you. This journey, this evolution, this energy you have cultivated, it was never about validation. It was never about proving anything, never about seeking approval, never about measuring your worth by the way others respond to you. It was always about becoming so fully aligned with yourself that you no longer need validation from the world, only for the world to now seek it from you. Women are drawn to you, not because you tell them what they want to hear, not because you give them false praise, not because you seek their attention. They are drawn to you because you move differently, because you exist in a space of certainty, because your validation is not about making them feel good. It is about making them feel something real. And now you understand that this is not the end of your growth. It is only the beginning of something greater. The more aligned you become, the more powerful your presence will be. The more grounded you are in yourself, the more others will feel the need to rise to meet you. The more intentional you become with your energy, the more the world around you will shift to reflect it. There is no longer a need to chase, to prove, to convince. There is no longer a need to explain why you move the way you do, why you do not react as others do, why your presence commands without effort. You simply are, and that is enough. Women will continue to seek your validation, not because they lack worth, but because your presence forces them to confront what they have always known deep inside. That true validation is not given easily, not found in shallow interactions, not created through deception and mind games. It is earned, and it is real. You have stepped into a realm where only the most aligned, the most self-aware, the most grounded in their own truth will find themselves drawn to you in a way that does not feel like pursuit, but like recognition. And in this space, in this energy, in this reality you have created for yourself, you will find that the only validation you ever truly needed was the one you have already given to yourself. And that chosen one is why you will never again need to seek, because now the world seeks you.